Hey everyone, MGTOW Dad here. I'm kind of bumming today, but that aside, I hope everything is going well with you and you're taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. This is going to be kind of a rant, so I apologize for that in advance. It's hard for me to record these rants. I don't want to say it's embarrassing, although I feel it borders that. And it's not, I don't know, it's not embarrassment so much as it emphasizes an aspect of futility in that I enjoy talking to people, not cameras. And over the last 6 years or so, I've had to resort to venting to a camera and random people on the internet. And venting is good because A, you get it out, and B, you can get objective feedback from people. For example, let's say you didn't return my phone call and we were supposed to go to a place today and now I don't know if we're going and I'm mad at you because you're so thoughtless and inconsiderate. And I want to call you and tell you this and instead I call and vent to someone over there and they may say, you're right, they're inconsiderate. But they may also say, that's one of the dumbest things to be mad at. That's very inconsiderate of you, as a matter of fact. And that may be what you need to hear in that moment because you may have woke up cranky, didn't eat breakfast, got in an argument with someone, something like that. You may have been taking the garbage out and the bag ripped and now you're having a bad day and you're taking it out on them. And you may not know that until you present that information to someone else and they can objectively, look at what you're saying and present that to you. Or you could call that person and potentially ruin a friendship telling them how inconsiderate they are when something legit happened. Or maybe they even called and left you a voicemail and you didn't check it because you don't check voicemails in 2022. And these are all the things I'm trying to talk about. Venting can be good, and it's especially in males today often viewed as complaining. It's mocked and ironically feminized by a lot of people who are feminist. But my point is, that's what this is about. And I've had to resort to cameras and talking to cameras and this kind of thing. I don't like it. I wish I could just look next to a person and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." I can't. So here I am venting to you. I have to be the most unlikable and insufferable person, not only in my life, but on the internet. And I don't mean that hyperbolically. I mean that based on the fact that I'm alone in my life, and that's not because of my choice. I'm willing to talk to people, to listen to people, to get to know people, look past differences, talk about differences. But I don't know what it is about the fact that in a world of billions of people, I have access to people on the internet. I have family members and past friends. And if there's one thing consistent in everybody, aside from people who have passed away in my life, that I'm not worth being around. For example, I've had conversations with my ex and my sister about the fact that all I want to do is see my kids. If it inconveniences me, I don't care. If it's something you may think I may not want to do, but the girls are there, I'm going to want to do it. And how much I hate being away from the girls on my ex's week. It's just I'm a better person when I'm with my kids, and that's life is better when I'm with my kids. If I have to explain that to you, I don't know how else to explain that to you. And I invite them if I take the girls to a lunch, to a park, to a movie, anything we do, I try to involve family because I tell my kids all the time, If you ask someone 100 times, if you have to ask someone 100 times to get a yes, it doesn't always mean that they don't care. It means they have a lot going on, and that you just may have to ask 100 times for both of you to get what you want. I said before something akin to when you have a cost like that, some people see that as some insurmountable obstacle, and how they look at the stress that will come with it, and they'll weigh whether a fruit fly was in my face, whether it's worth it or not. Some people will look at that as the necessary cost for me to attain what I want. Because I can A, say I want this, but then never ask for it because someone may tell me no 99 times. Or I can ask 100 times because I'm going to get what I want on that 100th. I try to teach that to my kids, and I say often, I don't tell my kids, do this because I'm not doing it, and I want you to do what I'm not doing because you don't see it in me. I try to be what I tell my kids to do. I try to embody these principles so they don't just look back and say, Daddy said to be nice. Daddy said be nice and was nice to people. Daddy said respect family, and he calls family and invites them. Daddy says take care of the people you love, so he helps people when they need it. Daddy says, all these things. Again, it's not Daddy says, it's Daddy does. They're up north at my sister's and brother-in-law's cottage with my ex, with my kids, and I have 2 weeks to myself. Now, my sister will invite me Friday night or Friday morning if they're going up north. That's a massive inconvenience to me because I'm in a position where the weekend is approaching and I love to do things with my kids, but I also want my kids to see their family. So, if my sister invites my kids to go up north, I'll almost always say yes. The problem becomes she waits till the last minute. Wednesday and Thursday, if I don't have plans for Friday or Saturday, I make plans. So when I don't have plans and I ask them, are they going up north? It's either no or we're not sure. I make plans. Then when I make those plans, I can't go up north with them because I would have to break the plans I made. And they take that as me not wanting to go up north. But they don't ask me on a weekend like this ever where there's nothing going on. It's almost like they conveniently ask on the times that they know I cannot go, and on the times like this where I have absolutely nothing to do until 10 days from now, they won't ask. I am the most unlikable. I use the term, I'll pull them up on the screen. Heterodox and anathematic. Anathematic, or the anathema, I use in reference to myself because the definition is something or someone that is vehemently disliked. And I could be wrong, but I've always also taken with that the feeling is almost unexplainably natural. It's like if someone comes into the room and you can look at them and it not only based on the way they look, but it's almost like the way they went out of their way to project an image, and it's accurate. They're detestable, they're shady, there's something wrong with them. And you don't know what, but you just know it. And it's not like it's not like where you're maybe uncomfortable and take a step back. It's where you know it, so you leave the room or start an altercation or just something. There's something so unsettling about that person that some kind of action needs to be taken. And that action with me is generally just leave. But I use the term more often heterodox. And I have a shirt that says natural born heterodox. And to me that's important because the term heterodox is defined as not conforming with accepted or orthodox standards or beliefs. And I'm going to break it down into a trinity of words. You have orthodox, unorthodox, and heterodox. And if I could, well, let me say the definitions first and then I'll put an example to it. You have orthodox, which is the accepted norms of society. You have unorthodox, which are the people who disagree with those norms or say the norm should be this or a little less here and more there and this should be there. They just disagree with the way that the norms are implemented and things like that. And then you have the heterodox who just doesn't understand the norms. They're looking at it objectively from the outside, maybe trying to make sense of it. And so let me think of an example. Road commissions. Let's say you have someone wanting to build a road. Someone wants to build a 2-lane road, 1 lane each way. The other says, no, we need to build a 4-lane road, 2 lanes each way. They're arguing about it. They may be yelling at each other, maybe fighting. Who knows? They may get unions and fight each other and political groups to try to lobby for this and that. And who knows? They may be doing all that. But let's say they're sitting there arguing, on this strip of flat land. And then you have someone come up and they don't. Let's say they're Native American, they don't speak English, and they're just watching these two guys fight, pointing at these things, and they don't even understand what they're... Again, that's a heterodox view, because not only do they not understand what they're going on about, but they may not even understand the concept of the road or why they want to build it. So it's not that they would even be disagreeing with the point or the premise, the degrees or thresholds. The premise is just completely foreign to them. So much so that if he came up and then all of a sudden could speak and they said, what are you guys even arguing about this for? The other two would be so offended at the audacity of that person to not understand why they're arguing that they would probably turn their ire onto him. And that's so natural born heterodox is what I was talking about. In that you have some people, I'm going to use the example of Ann Couture. I forget, I think it's Ann. I believe she is a pundit in that she will take what could be misconstrued as heterodoxical views or non-natural ones because she's a provocateur and wants to make people angry or provoke a reaction.
So my dad let me borrow his camera, and now let's go have some fun. Come on.
I am naturally just... I don't get things the way people interact or don't, the way people raise their kids or don't. And one of the toughest things I'm starting to discover I'm navigating constantly is, and this is what really starts to hurt me about my personality and makes me start to feel, I don't want to say guilty, but questions whether I should feel guilty because I have my 3 daughters. I don't care if nobody in this world likes me. It's kind of like that now. But I don't want, if you're a parent and have a kid and our kids are friends, I don't want you to not let your kid around my kid because you don't like me and I'm super unlikable and annoying and frustrating to talk with. And I know it happens now, and I'm trying to balance that. And sadly, the reality in that equation is that when I meet other parents, I just need to shut up and talk about the weather and the thing the kids are doing. Because the moment I start to talk about any kind of perspective, mentality, view on society, political issue, social issue, whatever, I start talking about that, I'm putting my kids at the risk of losing that friend. And that's just so annoying because I have my kids that do have friends and their parents aren't the best. Not, I have some who cuss a lot. My sister, my kids are over there a lot. My sister smokes, cusses, and I don't tell my kids not to hang out with those groups and my sister because those parents do things differently than I do. Now, there would be thresholds where if it's dangerous or something like that, but they're not. So I tell my kids the differences. Just for an example, they have their group of friends who their parents, similar to my sister, cuss a lot. They do things that are a lot dumber, and it's less discipline in the kids. And I don't tell my kids don't hang out with them. Their parents are bad. Don't listen to their parents. Be scared of them. I just say, and I'll be specific. What's going to happen if you come home from so and so's house and start cussing? You're not going to be able to go there because I know you can't handle the responsibility of understanding what to do and what not to do. Because I don't want you to not be around them because their parents cuss. Don't cuss like them and their parents. It's very simple. Because I don't cuss. Again, for a little bit of context, I don't want to say a bet, but a thing going with my kiddos where if they ever hear me cuss, I owe them $50 cash. I don't cuss. And I don't know, that frustrates me. I want to be able to be myself, but I know I'm not going to be able to. But it's like that with everybody. And I'm going to end after this because I want to do a video specifically about this. But I can't. This is what's the term? Anecdotal. So I'm not pushing this on any other single dad out there who's a great father. One who just wants to give more and get more to give more to their kids. And I don't mean superficially, but being I don't know if it's a byproduct of being single or just being me. I never get invited anywhere. Not one place with anybody. I don't do much myself because, again, anything I try to do, I try to save my money, my time, and my energy and my focus for my girls. I go on my walks, and that's about it. I play video games and clean up. But no one ever says, hey, Steve-O, do you want to go to the bar? Do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to come hang out? Do you want to come play video games? Do you want to go and do something? I will only get invited when I have my kids. Again, when I'm out doing my things, if I'm doing anything of merit, I invite people. I just invite people when I go out to breakfast or to come hang out, but it's come to the point where after 6 years of asking my sister, my friends, my other friends, do you want to come X and I talk. I'm a cynic and I love irony, so I have friends who got me into watching Trailer Park Boys who don't have access to SwearNet, who love the show, and I invite over to watch Trailer Park Boys on SwearNet, but they won't come over. I mean, it's just, if, I don't get it. Well, I do. It's just frustrating, and what's really frustrating is I was mentioning earlier, as a matter of fact, and I'll end it here, my kiddos about attrition and the fact that sometimes you got to ask 100 times and get told no, 99 times to get that 100th. And again, billions of people, hundreds and thousands of in-person contacts, online contacts, and I have not had one person just decide. People, and I'm talking Marines I've met, friends I've met that I've had since before I could remember because my mom and their mom grew up together and we just played together as kids. People I was godparents to, people I told I love you to, people I let live in my house when they didn't have a place to live, people whose families say I saved their lives. They will not look me up, talk to me, or respond, or I don't. It's fascinating. Welcome to my world. I hope everything's going well with you. You're taking care of yourselves and the ones you love. Cheers.